Hi, hello, my name is King Cigar, and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about a subject that's near and dear to my heart, Overlord. Yep, Skeleton Anime Supreme. And today I'm with some special guests. Over here is Infinite.
Hello, hello.
Over here is Fortune.
Hi.
And today we'll be talking about Overlord. Quick side note, this whole thing is gonna be like riddled with spoilers, like absolutely dump trucks full of spoilers. So go watch it, or go read it, or I don't know what else you do. Perceive it, smell it, embrace it, and all that.
Love it, because that's the only option you got.
Yep, because it's the best isekai you got here around. Because, well, most isekai are trash. Yeah, I said it. Fuck you.
Numerous examples, including, ones like In Another World with my smartphone, attest to that.
Yeah. So, with that out of the way, we're gonna jump right into it. So we're gonna look at a general overview here. So I'm gonna leave it up to you here, my host.
Your host, you're the one hosting me.
You don't need to know. Co-host, go.
Alright, so, in general, we got 4 different versions of the amazingness that is Overlord. We got the manga, we got the anime, we got the light novel, and then we got where it all started out, the web novel.
The web novel is quite heinous, so a minor, how do I put it? Viewer discretion advice, reader discretion advice, yeah. Just really fast, just watch out for that one.
Web novel often serves as a sort of what's the word for it? Like a rough draft. And in that rough draft, they don't have to worry about how others will perceive it because it's just going to be changed to the light novel. And yeah, it just gets weird. Just really, really weird. Just do yourself a favor and ignore that. Just read the light novel instead. It's much better.
Yeah. So anyways, back to the general overview of it.
So, general review. It is quite simply amazing. The characters are well developed. You get a whole bunch of depth. The setting is just so developed. It's insane how much world building there is. The interactions are hilarious, and even though you have an OPO main character, it's interesting the conflicts that he goes through. They're not all just oh, you need to fight this thing because obviously he's just going to blast through it. It's more of a la One Punch Man, where it's just simple things like maintaining relationships or how to manage a country and things like that.
You see that? Looking at you, my time we got reincarnated as slime. Take notes. Fucking asshat.
So, as for what I love about it as well, is the fact that there's also a lot for us to theorize and sort of imagine. I feel like that should be a staple in most fantasy settings, where there's enough room for the reader to interpret to his own image.
Yep, and with that, what is the best image besides the characters? Or more specifically, the character designs, which we'll be moving on to. So, some of these characters are just slap fucking amazing. Slapness amazing. Slap-atacular amazing. I don't know what other word would slap, because right now my brain is acting like a can of raw noodles.
My personal favorite has to be Kakitis. I have not seen a character design like that ever, other than in, say, actual mythology. Just giant blue insectoid carrying not 1, not 2, but 4 different glaives as his weapons.
4 is better than 1, kids. Remember that. Unless it's wives. Shame on you. But other than that, we also got characters like Pandora's actor, a doppelganger that is the personal shame of Ainz. Quick trivia. The guy is inspired by Nazis. I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. Ainz kind of went through a whole phase with him where he kind of thought Nazis were cool. Don't boycott Overlord, please. It's a Japanese thing. They thought Germany was cool, and Heinz is an idiot. And later he regrets every decision he made about him.
And we're not saying Heinz is an idiot as a sort of like, oh, he's just that way because he likes Nazis. No, we're saying it because it's actually in canon. Heinz is an idiot. He didn't finish anything past elementary school.
Yeah, so that kind of comes into effect a lot in Heinz's character, where you have this guy trying to manage a million different things with his IQ being like 4, and everybody around him having a high expectation and a high view of him, and each of them are smarter than him and arguably more dangerous.
It's a very good thing that as a salaryman, Heinz has a very, very good idea of just letting the smart people do the work for him, and he often steals Albedo's and Demiurge's ideas and praise them as his own. Well, I wouldn't say steal, it's more of they misinterpret his actions, come up with some wild plan as to how he came up with this stupid idea, and he rolls with it.
Yeah, I think that's how the entire Lord Conqueror thing came about. It was Demiurge's idea.
Yes, Demiurge misinterpreted one of Heinz's words.
Yup.
So
that kind of made him a little bit of a... I don't even know how to say anymore. I think I just lost my own track of mind there for a second when describing Heinz as, I'm gonna say ironically, spitelessness to correct any of his subordinates.
Well, to be fair, Heinz loves his subordinates. He sees them as his children. So to incur any sort of hate from them is honestly one of his worst fears, especially since he's really attached to the other 40 supreme beings, and he couldn't stand to fight any of their creations.
Yeah, that probably was part of them when the whole Shoutier thing came about, and also kind of awkward for him at any point with Albedo, especially when that one time Albedo tried to put him in a struggle snuggle.
Yeah, I want to point this out. That's just one thing that I didn't like about the difference between the anime and the light novel. The anime, we don't get a lot of his internal dialogue, whereas the light novel we do. And so I don't think that his his reluctance to fight Shoutier really got through in the anime.
I will actually say something different about that. I think the distanceness of his inner thoughts, especially in Season 2 when we don't share much screen time with Heinz really, actually works in his favor, as I like to see Overlord as the reaction between a world that has a, well, let's just say it, a fucking stereotypical villain. Because Heinz is not a good person.
Oh yes, please don't make that mistake. While Heinz was originally human, due to, everyone knows, due to his transformation, he lost all sympathy with pretty much anything that isn't Nazarick. So, he doesn't mind if they do heinous shit. Now, he won't go out of his way to do heinous shit, but he certainly doesn't mind it.
Yeah, and to also double up on that, I'm pretty sure he's unaware of a lot of the depths of depravity that the entirety of Nazarick goes through. We're not even going to touch here on Demiurge's happy farm.
Yeah, Demiurge is especially seeking out to find any way to just do the most vile things one can imagine. And honestly, we could go up the tree and say that we could blame this on the Supreme Beings, their creators, as they're, quite frankly, all degenerates.
Yeah, like Paragon Chino. I'm like 70% sure when he made his Shoutier, he was really the Holy Con.
Yeah, I really feel... Honestly, I feel bad for the man, especially with his sister, Ooh.
Oh yeah, right. So we're gonna move on to a little bit of trivia, but maybe loop back around the characters once we start remembering some of them. Oh yeah, right, exist. So I'm gonna just say some random piece of trivia, and I'll lead it off to my co-host here. So, Chino, creator of Shout here. Now, if you didn't know, he had a sister in that guild called Nine's Own Goal, where it was essentially a strange relationship between the two, because one, they hated each other, two, she was a voice actress of the kind of naughty variety most of the time. And the man was, let's call him a man of culture, especially a man of the sauce. So when he found it, he kind of got disheartened and extremely depressed because he will constantly hear his little sister's voice in a lot of the stuff he finds.
Yeah, so I can imagine be quite a turn off just to hear your sister's voice all of a sudden. Well, Anyway, another example of how, they're all just sort of heinous in general is, Albedo's sister. Now, I may be remembering this wrong, but she's only really mentioned in the light novel, where in order to get her to talk, you have to get a doll and tell her that is her son or something. Otherwise, she will attack you, desperately asking where her son is.
Fun fact, she's supposed to be the nicer one and the better one out of those sisters. And
Also, just saying, how cruel is it to make Albedo, a succubus that's a virgin?
that is some kind of form of divine comedy, and I will thank the writer for that. Anyways, on that note, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a strange thing with their naming conventions with the Albedo sisters. I think correct me if I'm wrong again, I'm pretty sure their whole names is just the alchemical process. And then when I figured that out, it just assured me that how much of a big fucking nerd the creator is.
Well, it's not just Albedo that has weird naming conventions. There's all of them really do, to be honest. Sebastian, then we got Aura Bella Fiora, and her brother, who is wearing a dress. Those two
Those two are
were a victim to the degeneracy. Mara Bello Fiora, and also their creator, Buku Buku Chagama. So their naming sense definitely isn't the best.
I can see that, mostly because comparatively to any other, like for example, Kakitis, a place in hell, Damnurge, a very elaborate way to say the devil and all that, that's just, their names are kind of boring or unfortunate. Especially
So also,
Lord Touch Me.
going in the order of the Albedo sisters from oldest to youngest, it is Negretto, Albedo, and Rubedo.
Yep. If I remember correctly, that is Decay, and then no. Okay, I'm trying to remember it, but either way, it's a cycle of decay. Which is kind of neat. Also, one person that a group of people we forgot to mention in our last recording of this was the Pleiades.
Ah, yes, the battle maze, the last line of defense headed by head butler Sebastian.
Don't give them too much credit, I'm pretty sure they're there just to exist as fat material.
You're not wrong. And yes, also Sebastian for the fat material.
People like him both. Either way. Quick overview on all of them. Their naming conventions are somewhat similar. Some of them have original names, but mostly their sub-names is what's important as it goes Alpha, Omega, etc. Down to a character that I'm going to mention for trivia, because apparently I never knew she existed, and a lot of people don't. Because she was completely annihilated from the anime. which was the last Pleiades, which I think is Zeta. Correct me if I'm wrong. But either way.
No, you're right. They in the anime they removed a lot of characters. Such being, or a few such being, Albedo's sisters. We don't see them in the anime.
Yeah, no, we were supposed to see him that last season. Didn't see shit from them. So that's just sad. And back on the topic of the Pleiades, that last one is literally just a person that's supposed to be around the staff of Nine's Old Golem. And, you know, guard it and give it to Ainz and all that. And you know what? Now I'm starting to see why they removed her. A lot of remotion from a lot of this is usually at the same time, because condensing all of that content into a 12-episode anime is fucking I can't
exhausting.
Yeah,
it's just way too much.
Yeah.
The light novel describes so much that honestly, if they were to do it chapter by chapter, like for an episode, we would be getting, in the same amount of episodes, we'd be getting like hour-long episodes.
I think we would be still in the Tomb of Nazarick by the time episode 12 hits, if that was the case. Also, really fast, gonna try to look through something here, because we're doing this live. Hooray. Oh, here's something interesting. We actually have stat sheets for these characters. For those who are unaware, that the creator went ahead and made entire character sheets in the sense of entire game sheets for these characters. Each a single one of them. Well, not every single one.
I have to say,
but
these stat sheets are confusing, to say the least. Apparently, the system is actually very well described, but if you don't know it, it's very odd. Because there's like class stuff, there's race stuff, but you only get a certain amount of levels to allocate to them. And yeah, it's just a bit confusing, but also very, very interesting.
So, on that note, I believe most of it was inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, well, or at least Pathfinder. I know some of designs are inspired by D&D. For example, Kakitis is just an actual ice devil. And for the multiple levels into certain things, that's just Pathfinder-y with, I guess, race requirements with that.
Yep, and honestly, it's super interesting how you can also sort of like level up your race as well. I believe Ainz actually has quite a few levels into his race.
I think he only has like really one level into, like 2 or 1 levels into an actual class, and the rest is just upgrades of him being a skeleton. And by the way, fun fact, comparatively to every other supreme being, and as just a PvP sense, which makes the fact that Ainz actually won against Shao Tier impressive, Ainz build just sucks ass.
Yeah, it's kind of a meme build. I mean, in general, out of like everyone in the Tomb of Nazarick, he's sort of like middling. So, well, more of out of the server of Yggdrasil. If you were to fight against someone like, say, Lord Touch Me, it would be a certain loss.
Man's won a tournament.
Yep, he became a world champion, not an easy feat.
But to fight Ainz, if you were to say if Ainz was turned into an NPC in a game, he would probably be unintentionally one of the weakest. Mostly because his entire build is based off summoning and defense, which is not that good.
No, he was very much going for like a sort of theme there.
Yeah, you know, Undead Lich Overlord and all that. Yeah. Also, so wait, why did I say also? I think I'm just on a little bit of meth right here.
Just maybe a little bit. But rather, an actual better spellcaster than Ainz in the same guild is, you won't believe it, Buku Buku Chagama.
Yep, Miss. Wait, is it Mrs.? I think. Yeah, Mrs.
Slime.
Yeah.
It is just slime.
There's
But
three
Mrs., yeah.
slimes, yeah. If I remember that one right. She's the one that created the Dark Elf twins. That fucking degenerate.
Yep, the cross-dressing Dark Elf twins,
Nothing.
who, despite being respectively 70 and I think 76 and 78, I think actually they might be no, they're twins, so 76.
Long years to us, like fucking 10 for them. Elf years and all that, yeah.
So, I think she might have just a bit of a fetish, not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, no, I'm pretty sure half of the guild did. The only ones I'm certain that didn't one are like the creator of Demiurge. Then again, his fetish might have been pain. Because dear God, he had to write some kind of description to make Demiurge turn out like that.
And the description for Albedo, my word.
And touch me. But
honestly, touch me being the more, I would say, nice. Like, he's definitely the nicest of them all. And that shows in his creation, Sebastian, being, you know, the only one that would actually hesitate to kill you if commanded to.
Yeah, the thing about it's Sebastian. Whatever, he's a joke on fucking butlers and, you know, combat ready butlers and all that. Either way, out of all of the Tomb of Nazarick residents, he's the one that's visibly and notably the one that might hesitate when punching off a little girl's head. Still has to do it. That's just how they're all made. But he's the one that won't kill that. And that's honestly all I can say on his part. He's just the only good guy. Also, fun fact about him. His true form is a dragon. If you were confused if he was a human.
Oh yes, it's actually quite awesome, not gonna lie. And I actually find his struggle with the whole what's the right thing to do versus like what is commanded of me very interesting, because it might lead to traitorous thoughts in terms of the Tomb of Nazarick. Now, with that in mind, that actually may leave a very unlikely friendship to develop between Sebas and Eclair. If you don't remember, it's the small penguin with the fancy bow tie.
Right, I remember. Not all Nazarick residents are built equally, and I'm not meaning in level or power. Just some of them are just. Some of them, the creators just decided to have a cruel joke one day, so they made a penguin that would addiction to cleaning, but he doesn't have thumbs or hands.
And he also desires to sit upon the throne of Nazarick.
Get there by cleaning. Isn't that adorable?
Absolutely. Now, what's funny is that it's mentioned that Eclair has sort of conflicting thoughts about what is best for the Great Tomb of Nazarick and how his creators gave him the role of the betrayer.
They gave the weakest, essentially, I think they were so far up their own ass, they gave the weakest member of Nazarick the Judas syndrome. Also, really fast, we're gonna end off here in a little bit, but right before that, we're gonna look at some of the Supreme Beings and try to really just tell you about some of them that we know off the top of our heads. Now, this is where our great assistant Fortune comes in.
Hello.
Yeah, no, she's silently enduring everything. I keep her here on a leash, really. I'm pointing at a gunpoint at her. She's our resident.
I am the resident researcher, artist, and music picker. I don't make the music, I just find the music, and I'm choosing Toho remixes. Anyway, yeah.
Copyright, you cannot get me now! But yeah, so if you would do us a favor, find the names of the 41 Supreme Beings.
Got it.
40.
enough,
I don't think all of them are listed. I think there's only, what, like 30-something named?
Yeah, no, we're gonna be listing mostly founding members because I think, well, that I don't know. That's how I feel about talking right now. I just feel like watching the founding members. If you were to list all 31 of them, I think I would shoot myself.
What's funny is that a lot of the more well-known ones, like Pero no Chino, Buku Buku Chugama, Hero Hero, all of those, Lucy Starfur.
Okay, I know.
They're not.
I know the first.
They're not original members.
I remember the first three you mentioned. I have no the fuck idea who that last one was.
Lucy
Right.
Starfur. You don't know the great Lucy Starfur?
No, I don't know Lucy Starfur because I didn't fucking
Okay.
an entire.
I found a list here, and do you want me to start with founding members or no members?
Just go with founding members first. And we'll
Uh,
description.
Momonaga.
Momonga. The
Momonga.
The Ainz.
who? Yep, one of the guildmaster and, well, yeah, a resident Skelly boy.
Our favorite.
Next up is Touch Me.
No.
Yes, the paladin himself.
But in all seriousness, yeah, he's the paladin, and the only good real person in that entire guild of illiterates.
Who's probably not a general. Actually, he's a cop.
I did not know that. Then
Yes, indeed.
I'm pretty sure you only joined that guild just to get real close to what's his name, Buga Chegama and Parancino, just to double check. I'm slandering them. I'm slandering them, and there's nothing you can do about it. Next.
Right. Next up is, oh god, this one's been a mouthful for me. Nishiki and Nari.
I know this.
Nishiki
He's the ninja.
Kienrai.
He is the local rogue slash ninja of Ainz Gun. And, well, there's not really much I would say about him. Besides, he just has the highest amount of possible damage out of the entire guild. And then, sneak attack.
Yeah, he sounds like the just the typical I hide in the shadows and strike when you least expect it sort of guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we could see one of his. I'm not sure which one is it, but I think it's a more like commercial one out of the ladies. I think she's that one.
Right.
Either way, next one.
Wish 3.
Wish.
Not much is known about them besides their homies with Touch Me. Everybody was homies with Touch Me. There's not even.
Honestly, the whole initial group got together because of Touch Me, I believe.
Yeah.
Though I think they made Momongo the leader because he was the most responsible of them all in some way.
And also he had the most time. But yeah, next.
Warrior Taka Mikazuchi.
Yes, the creator of the great Kakitis.
A very boring man. I'm just gonna say right now, he's kind of simple. He names his gear.
Listen.
His name is gear. He named his gear shit like version 2.
Listen. There is excellence in simplicity.
Not if you're
You-
a cool-ass samurai though.
Listen, he's just following the samurai way. Don't be too flaunty. Just do.
I don't think that's a code.
It's my code. All right. I'm adding it to the code. All right. It's now part of the samurai code. Don't be flashy. Just do. Moving on.
Alright. Ancient One.
Honestly, I have no fucking.
Same. I think. Yeah. No. I just don't remember. I don't even remember them being mentioned.
That's one of the names on the list.
Next.
Alright.
Huh.
Flatfoot.
Flat.
Flat. Ooh, is he the brother to Bigfoot?
Let's see. If I remember, I think he was just Paralanchina's friend. Which, honestly gives me some suspicions about him if he was Paraloncino's friend.
Oh my god. Amano Hatsiu.
Mano Hatatsu.
Yes.
All I gotta say about him is a crab.
Crab. Reject humanity. Return to Crab.
Crab.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say there's not that much interesting about him.
Right, that's all the founding members.
Alright, go
One last
ahead.
note
Go ahead and read the
about
first three down there.
First three and no members.
Yeah, first three no members includes the ones we all know and love.
Right.
Or hate.
Piri. Oh my fucking god. Piri Uriocino.
Perorochino. Peronchino.
Perocino. Buka Buka Chagma. And Hiro.
Uka Buka Chagamaga. Buku Buku Chagama.
I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah, if you can't tell, I have no idea if the names are supposed to be a reference or a joke, but there's something.
They are certainly your typical online name.
Alright, so Buka Buka Chagama, she was a slime voice actress, lewd voice actress, and brother to Peroncino. They're both degenerates. The degenerates again. Degenerate family. Hiro was actually the last member we saw last week going. Mostly because apparently there was two slime people. He was the purple one.
Oh, you're a robot.
Apparently one of the supreme beings didn't like how Sig was talking about them, so they came back to smite his voice.
It happens a lot.
Okay, so don't mind me, just some technical difficulties and some horrible connection issues. Either way, we're gonna talk about the final one, the creator of Demiurge himself. I'm not gonna say that name.
Which one? There's a lot of names here.
This one in the street.
Ilbert Allen Odell.
Ulbert Elaine Odell.
Alright.
That's why I brought him on here. Anyways, yeah, creator of Demiurge, the man loved the idea of villain. Man loves being the bad guy. I can agree with the opportunity to be anything like that. I think I would be quite the heinous individual. Anyways, I'm pretty sure he's some kind of sick fucker since he wrote some kind of description of Demiurge, and after which Demiurge went and started fucking Auschwitz.
What I remember from him specifically is that one, he's fixated on the word evil, and two, apparently he suffered from Chunabu.
Meaning, fourth grader syndrome. Basically, imagine a person who thinks their life story is extremely edgy and worth a backstory, or what I suffered through when he was making Pandora's actor. Basically, basically a giant obsession with something.
Imagine your typical anime, your typical weeb, right? Like you met them in the 4th grade, and they're not running around Naruto running. They cry out their move special attack. That's exactly what we're talking about here.
Yep. Anyways, so I think it's about time we bring it down and begin settling down here. So, really fast, just gonna let you all know about something. Overlord is honestly probably, even though it's so drastically different, I think it's the best beginner isekai. Mostly because the fact that it's so different that every other isekai might be better in comparison if you watch it for one person.
And you got a lot of Overlord to watch, with 3 seasons out and a 4th one coming soon.
Oh, and one more thing. Right, before we end this video, let's talk about Clementine.
The most hated character of all.
don't know.
Just-
I don't know, bro. Apparently she's getting. Yeah, no. So I got some news. Mostly out of a video I found. It's really fucking hard to look up, but either way, found out that you know what? Everybody knows Clementine. I'm not even explaining, but either way, lady is getting her own video game on the Nintendo Switch and Steam.
Which is wild.
And
For
also,
one,
and also might be
her depiction isn't exactly kid-friendly here.
No, I like. How do I say? Out of everybody in Overlord, it's exceptional when you're the least kid-friendly one.
Also, it's why Clement? Like honestly, why Clementine? Out of every single one, you choose the side character that was well known for being annoying and somehow managing to make Ainz, who is famous for not really being affected by anything now with his calm emotions effect, so mad that he decided to not take you out as the most efficient way possible, but rather to do it in the most cruel way possible.
Bear hug. But yeah, no, honestly, at the end of the day, I'm happy that the very first console Overlord game is coming. That's an actual game. But I'm also sad that it's focused literally Clementine.
Imagine if the final boss is just Ainzul Gone.
Auto lose.
Auto lose. I would not be mad. I would not.
Anyways, for those in the audience, just have fun. Watch Overlord Season 4. If you, for some reason, were watching this video without knowing what Overlord was, watch it. We glossed over a holy amount of trivia, characters, and
So, thank you all for joining us. It was amazing having me on, because I am just that amazing, obviously.
drop dead. Anyways, really fast special thanks to Fortune right here to help us out here and provide some art too. And with that, I think we'll be signing off. So I hope you all had a great day, a great night, and stay frosty.